What in the...
Ah, Suris, I see my portal caught you.
Where am I?
You're on my channel.
But that area below the screen says I'm still on my channel.
Right, well, that's because... Did Prophet of Zod already make the quantum joke? Anyway, you're on both channels.
Oh, this again. That must mean we're tackling the prophecy report.
That's correct, but before we do, give me back my shoes.
So, last time I recruited a prophet to help me take down a prophet, so this time let's see if we can take the whole astrology portion down with the help of an astronaut.
Hello everyone, I'm Cosmological, and if you're watching this on my channel, make sure to go over and subscribe to Suris. If you're watching this on Suris' channel, then maybe come check me out. Let's get started.
Satan's seed is the dragon, and I would say right now it's the unknown object.
Suris, what have you just dragged me into?
Oh, nothing. Just a conversation about giving birth, Jupiter, failed prophecy, and, you know, basic stuff.
Nobody knows. We know there's another element to this prophecy, but we're not sure.
Right, there's another element, but you're not sure. Of course you're not. You can't get too specific, because then you'd be wrong.
And many people are calling it Planet X. I think that's a valid conjecture, because somebody, some other planet came during the time of Jesus' crucifixion and blocked the sun for 3 hours. The moon cannot block the sun for even 8 minutes. 7 minutes and maybe like 30 seconds is max. Another object blocked the sun when Jesus was crucified.
According to Mark, the sky went dark from noon to 3 p.m. during Jesus' crucifixion. So what Steve is saying here is that it had to be some other object, like a planet, blocking the sun out. He thinks this is going to happen again. And this is the unknown element to the prophecy, I guess. What I don't understand is what the hell this has to do with the dragon from the passage in Revelation he's talking about.
When Jesus was crucified. So there's a celestial sign at Jesus' birth. There's a celestial sign at Jesus' crucifixion, and we believe there's a celestial sign at the next appointed time, which should be the rapture and the start of the tribulation.
Still waiting on that, huh?
And then bruising the head and him bruising the heel is very interesting, because if you put these things as an interpretation of things going on in astronomy in the sky, that would mean the top side of an unknown object collides with the southern hemisphere of Jupiter, resulting in a stream of debris. Now, when we come up with these theories, we always go to history. History is prophecy. Patterns are prophetic. Well, guess what? It happened already. Did you know that Jupiter was grazed by comet Schumacher? Schumacher. You know what that means? Shoemaker.
Thanks for the insight. I was thinking it meant something completely different.
He could be talking about Joel Schumacher. You know, the guy responsible for the old shitty Batman movies. No? Bad joke? Damn it, Cosmo, why is your humor better than mine?
It's to make up for my horrible audio and upload schedule.
And what are you supposed to hit? The heel. And the shoemaker hit the heel of the king planet once before. So what happened? Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 broke apart in July 1992. Its fragments collided with Jupiter on the southern hemisphere between the 16th to the 22nd of July 1994 at a speed of 60 kilometers per second. The prominent scars from the impacts were visible from Earth and persisted for months. This happened before. Remember, patterns are prophetic. History is prophecy. Schumacher might be prophetic of an outline of the king's heel.
So, the fragments of a comet, which is named after its discoverers, collided with what we've decided is the bottom, since there's no direction in space, of the largest planet in the solar system, which you've decided to assign the title of king, and that can vaguely be taken to fit with your interpretation of this passage in Genesis, so... this proves what, exactly?
How amazing is God?
He's not very amazing at clear communication.
All these names, I believe, are prophetic. So what is the sign telling us? Harmonize it with Jeremiah. Let's see what happens when a woman is in labor. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with child. So Why do I see every man with his hand on his loins like a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? What is Jeremiah chapter 30 talking about? You're going to recognize this right away. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, and it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. What's he talking about? The woman in labor, which we find in Revelation 12, is explained in Jeremiah 30 as the start of the time of Jacob's trouble. How long does that last? Again, most American prophecy teachers believe 7 years, so you just do the math. 2017 plus 7 means 2024 would be around the time when Jesus would come back for the Jews. I personally believe that it is possible the time of Jacob's trouble equals the time of the real Jacob's trouble. And his time of trouble was not 7 years. His time of trouble for his 2 wives, for Laban's sheep and goats, and for running away from Esau, all of that added up to the number of the Jews, 22. So 2017 plus 22 would equal 2039. I don't know. I don't know if we can survive that long.
Of course you don't know. You give us 2 dates, so if the first one doesn't pan out, you have some leeway. Good luck with that.
But Cosmo, he's not a date setter, even if he's put up several dates. Maybe he just doesn't like dates because he sucks at Tinder?
Today, our anniversary service. Today, the start of the new year on the Jewish calendar. Today, the internet has been given up by the United States and handed over to the UN. You know why? You know why? Because the United States has one law called the First Amendment, which protects free speech. As long as the internet is in the United States power, it's always protected by the First Amendment. You can say whatever you want. But if you remove it from the legal structure and protection of the First Amendment and give it to the UN, you can begin to censor people who speak opinions the globalists don't agree with.
Yeah, that's not an accurate representation of what happened. Surprise, surprise. What really happened was the US government relinquished control of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, or ICANN. Basically what happened was ICANN ended their contract with the US Department of Commerce and they entered the private sector, but they're still working closely with the US and other governments. This has actually been the plan the whole time. No, this isn't some nefarious plot to take away your free speech online. You still have the legal protections of the First Amendment and you can still say whatever you want online.
It happened today. How long can we go? Can we go to 2040? I don't know. I think it'd be tough. It'd be tough. I am now more inclined, even though I believe in the 22 years, I believe the 22 years of Jacob's trouble already started.
Oh, they've already started? That's important news. What are the new dates? Nothing? No new dates? Just gonna say that, then move on? Okay.
He says he doesn't set dates. After he sets dates. He's very deep and complicated.
Ah, yes, he must work in mysterious ways.
Okay, but another time we can study that. Saved out of it. He will go into the time of Jacob's trouble, Israel will, but he'll be saved out of it. What does that mean? The Messiah will bring them salvation out of the tribulation. Jeremiah 30 pegs the Revelation 12 sign to the beginning of Jacob's trouble and then the salvation of the Jews. Another one, Isaiah 21. A distressing vision is declared to me. The treacherous dealer deals treacherously, and plunderers plunder.
And obvious statements are obvious.
Go up, O Elam, beseech, O Media, all its sighing I have made to cease. Therefore my loins are filled with pains. Pangs have taken hold of me like the pangs of a woman in labor.
You should probably get that checked out then. Could be dangerous. Oh, right, you're still quoting the Bible. Sorry, I always forget who wrote those books. They should get that groin thing checked out.
I was distressed when I heard it. I was dismayed when I saw it. This is Isaiah 700 years before Jesus came. And he said, when he gave this metaphor of being in labor and in pain, he said, Elam and Media come and attack. Who's that? The woman in labor is interpreted by Isaiah as being associated with the invasion by Elam and Media, which, if you studied my 4,000 years of history, you know is Iran.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it. You're boring enough here, and listening to you cover 4,000 years of history sounds horrifying.
So the Iranian invasion we covered in World War III series refers to Daniel chapter 8, a war between Iran and the Sunni Muslims, and Ezekiel 38, a war of the united Muslims against one nation, Israel. There are two wars that Iran seems to be involved with. And when the sign of the woman in the sky comes, when the woman is in pain, Isaiah calls, O Elam, O Media, come out and begin your siege.
Isn't it interesting that those wars are continuous? No, seriously. There's been a conflict of one sort or another in the Middle East for ages. A lot of them focusing around Israel, Palestine, and other places of significance for religion. I even have a Muslim in a chat room I frequent who always refers to Israel as fake state Israel, and never anything else. All this energy you're spending trying to figure out this prophecy revolving around this conflict be much better spent actually trying to resolve it? Seriously, it seems to me that so much of this conflict happens in a region of the world solely for religious reasons, and with scriptures like this in your book, I can only imagine why that is.
I think this might be the last one.
I hope you're right. Please let it be the last one. I can only stand this video so much longer. I've been stuck in limbo with this piece of crap for 3 months now.
Oh, that's totally not my fault. Blame Suris, everyone.
Isaiah 13 verse 8. There's quite a few, but I'm just giving you harmony of scriptures. That's how you understand the Bible. Don't make it up. Let the Bible speak for itself. It will interpret itself. Chapter 13, verse 8 of Isaiah. And they will be afraid. Pangs and sorrows will take hold of them. They will be in pain as a woman in childbirth. They will be amazed at one another. Their faces will be like flames. Behold, the day of the Lord comes, cruel and with both wrath and fierce anger to lay the land desolate, and he will destroy its sinners from it.
And it's not his first act of genocide either.
No. It's not genocide when God does it. If you invented a sentient race of creatures, it would be your right to wipe them out as you pleased.
For the stars of heaven and their constellations will not give their light. The sun will be darkened in its going forth, and the moon will not cause its light to shine. So in this case, the woman that is in labor and the other celestial signs are associated with the day of the Lord, and that's the wrath of God on sinners during the tribulation. So again, what does Revelation 12 tell us? If you harmonize the scriptures, it's looking more and more like it's associated with the beginning of the day of the Lord.
I'm sure it is, especially after you take writings from different authors 1,000 years apart from one another and try to layer their meanings on top of one another. I'm sure you can, actually no. No, it still doesn't make sense.
That's called the tribulation. All right, so here it is. There's the sign. And here's my last scripture.
You told us that the last one was your last one. You lied to me. Oh, wait. You're a prophet. Never mind. I'm no longer surprised. Carry on.
Hey, let's not give a bad name to all prophets. Prophet Zod is okay.
This is what, in plain English, I believe is happening soon. 1 Corinthians 15. Couldn't be plainer than this. 51. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye.
Holy crap, where did that energy come from? You got so loud all of a sudden, jeez. Carry on, oh boisterous one.
At the last trump.
He totally just said, at the last trump. Just saying.
For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible has put on incorruption, this mortal has put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Therefore, what do? My beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable. What does immovable mean?
That I can't move? I mean, it's right there in the freaking word. You know what? I can't even really be upset. I'm sure you're going to tell us anyways, so please. What does immovable mean?
Don't shift and change and shift and change, which is what I see all the time now.
Coming from an end times prophet where the dates shift and change, and when the end times don't come, the signs shift and change, and the dates shift and change again. What kind of hypocrisy goes into a sermon like this?
No, you haven't been listening. He's not a date setter. He just happens to come up with dates and, you know, set them. Until they change and he resets them.
People shifting and changing all the time. Be immovable in this time. I have the same job for 16 years. I think very few people can boast that.
So you failed at prophecy for 16 years and still got paid to keep your job? Holy shit, that sounds like it's right up there with the weatherman. Failed predictions daily? Get paid? You, sir, are one lucky individual.
In this generation. I have kept the same job and I have pastored the same church for 16 years. What does that mean?
You're a well-dressed apocalyptic weatherman?
Hey, meteorology is based on legitimate science. You do a disservice to the weathermen and weatherwomen of this world by comparing him to them.
Immovable.
Nope. I'm moving you right now. Right off my screen. Off my upload schedule. Away from Cosmos channel. And completely out of here. We're done with you. I had to sit and listen to half an hour of nonsense and plan 3 videos dedicated to you, good sir. I had to bring in a prophet, an astronaut, and leverage my own sanity on your failed prophecy. I don't even know what to say, except I'm done. What do you think about our well-dressed end times weatherman, Cosmo?
I think he made some excellent points and very convincing arguments. You know, either that or he just said a lot of words in a confident tone of voice. Anyway, this has been fun. We'll have to do it again sometime. Any last words before I use my portal to send you back home?
Yeah, does this dimension include any methods of speeding up your production time on your videos?
Shut up. And as always, insert end of video tagline here.
Hey, that's my out.
Okay, that was fun. I hope this audio isn't that bad.